like Meg is about to...
Meg's gonna keyboard cat. I mean, this is great for the video.
Just the tails.
Okay. Well, welcome to the Accursed Book Club Podcast. It's our first episode.
Yeah.
Who are you?
I'm Taylor, and I like cows.
And I'm Maggie, and I do like llamas, but I also just really like this mug. We're starting this. I'm not really sure how to start these because it's always really awkward. But we're just gonna rant and talk about books that we read in the horror theme because I started a book club like 2 years ago. It was way more than 2 years ago. It was like 3 or 4. And I just intended for everyone to pick a genre that they liked to, like, kind of rotate. I thought there would be some romance readers, some fiction readers, and everyone consistently chose horror, and the third book that we read was Blood Meridian. And now it's kind of become part of my personality. I mean, I really liked horror anyway, but anyway, I don't really know how we got here, but Taylor is not the only member. It's just she's the only member who would come on a podcast about books.
And I did not read Blood Meridian. That might be why. So
no, you would have read that and you would have been like, you know, I'm good on that one, actually.
I did read Rant, though.
Neither of us knew.
Yeah. I mean, it technically isn't a horror, but I would definitely classify it as a horror.
I was going to say that it does not matter what it's advertised as. That's a horror novel.
Yeah.
So, but either way, when I read We Used to Live Here, beautifully, while my dad was getting brain surgery, and then Taylor said that she was going to read it, I said, you want to start a podcast? And she said, sure. So here we are. I guess that answers how we got here.
I was promised coffee, that's why I'm here.
And today our blend is Folgers.
The best part of waking up is Folgers in your cup.
Oh. And then a brother and sister in the kitchen.
Yeah.
But we don't talk about that. Okay, so I feel like we should probably start with a brief synopsis of the book. Also, I mean, to the 10 listeners out there, please read the book before you do this, because it's a really good book.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm going to say that for every book, even if it's not good. I won't tell you that it's good, but I will say read it. But yeah, do read it before you come here, but we'll do a brief synopsis anyway. Do you want to do the synopsis, because I'm not good at them?
Sure. So this book is all about a couple. They like to go across mostly the eastern side of the United States, but they took a leap this time and went to the west. They like to buy houses and flip them, resell them, but they do live in those houses while they are in the process of renovating them. And so this stars Eva and Charlie. They just recently bought a house out west and they're putting it together. While they're there, Charlie runs out to get beer for them to just kind of settle into the house. Eva is left on her own. And while she's there, there's a knock on the door. And when she opens the door, there's a dad, a mom, and 3 kids. I think there's 2 boys and a girl. And they're all probably around the age of 10 and younger. And the father, Thomas, says, hey, we used to live here. Can we take a look inside? And Eve, because she is a people pleaser to, like, the nth degree, decides to let peer pressure and guilt work in their favor, and it allows them into their home. And then horror ensues, to say the least. So.
There's weird behavior from the dad. Also, the basement doesn't make sense.
Mm-mm.
And then as they go on, the house starts changing.
Yeah.
So, like, Eve becomes convinced that they stole a window, which obviously is not possible. I think it was a stained glass window, and it changed to a regular one. And at least the way that I read it, it seemed to even, like, change shape.
Yeah.
Like, it went from, like, a circle-ish to, like, a square. Again, the basement doesn't make sense. There's really shoddy coverings of things. So, like, the dad came in and, like, moved a floorboard or something like that, and there was tile underneath. Which, like, that is something that happens in old homes, but typically you don't just, like, have 2x4s covering tile. It's, like, multiple layers of, like...
Right.
I don't know what they call it. I'm not a contractor.
Yeah. Well, also, it's harder to just, like, move wood apart and go, oh, look, tile.
Right.
Like, even if you have, like, the fake wood flooring, like, it doesn't usually separate that much.
No. And if it does, that's a bigger problem that you really need to address.
Maybe Eve and Charlie are not that great at flipping houses.
They came in and they said, we will go with the cheapest contractor.
Yeah. Maybe that's the true horror of it all, is they're just not good at what they're doing.
They're changing the basement, putting in walls.
Yeah. So.
Which put a pin in that. But, I had a few book questions written down.
Oh, hell yeah.
Well, just because I feel like the ending was kind of unclear.
Yes.
So also as this is going on, Eve is obviously losing her mind, and she leaves the house multiple times, but I kind of wonder if she even left.
Yeah.
Because she ends up going to the neighbor's house, and the neighbor has information that she doesn't really want to talk about. But things in her house also don't seem to make sense. Like, it almost seems like she's hiding someone in there.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if that was really real. She finds a cabin in the woods, which this is a bigger plot point that I want to address. But she finds a cabin in the woods that has, like, newspaper all over the walls of everything that's happened. And there's an old man that lives in there. And I don't know, he's really weird about the whole thing. And he has a scar on his face that's really important.
If you can't tell by, like, the hints that we have given so far, is this very much falls in line with cosmic horror. Less so evil tentacled men, and more so just the concept of existentialism and how terrifying that can be. And just, like, reality shifting things around.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, what do you do when you can't even, like...
Trust your own mind.
Yeah, so you almost get into a dementia area, but also... There's an extra chapter. What?
Is it in your... I think you might have an exclusive version, so if there's an extra chapter, I might not have it.
It is... Not Old Wounds. It's, Doc E25 Help.
Oh, I do have that.
Did you read it?
I did. Because that's the one that it ends a little, like, oddly.
Yeah. Oh, wait, do you have Stairwell?
Where's Stairwell?
At the very end.
I have the doc, and then it goes straight into acknowledgements.
It's after the acknowledgements.
No.
Oh, that's why I know certain things.
Oh!
Okay. So I kind of wanted to jump scare you later.
Oh, thank God.
But... So there's a stairwell, and it says, the note from the curator, the following has not been edited from its original transcript. And it's another part of these little inserts that are throughout the book. Except it seems to confirm that the house is an entity. And it's not only under the house, but it's, like, everywhere.
It is the house.
Yeah. And so, like, he's in, I think it's a mental hospital. I'm not 100% sure, but it's, like... an old area, which if this is, like, completely, like, not reality, please ignore this. But, or don't ignore it, but do know that it's not a mental hospital if it's not a mental hospital. But it's this guy exploring, and he ends up losing his partner and losing his mind in it. So the space is the entity. Anyone who steps foot in the house is always trapped there for the rest of their lives. And I don't know if the house is really feeding off of them, but it's at least taking something to where they're insane forever. So,
madness.
And it may be able to manipulate technology as well. Because, I mean, like, also, who has, like, a crack in their basement that a child can fit through that leads to another part of the basement? Who buys a house like that?
I don't know. You know what I just found out yesterday about my house? my younger brother has a cat named Holly. She's kind of feral. He has discovered that she has discovered that if she goes into his closet, and he lives in the basement, if she goes into his closet in the basement and she crawls up, there's space to get in between, like, the flooring of the main floor and the ceiling of the basement, and so she can just wander around in between those two places, because he'll be like, I can hear her in the walls. Because she has discovered that. So, like, you know what? Little animals and little kids, I think if there's a will, there's a way.
I mean, you're right, but also, do your parents know about that?
He told us all last night during dinner.
Did they know that that was there prior?
They didn't really react. So...
Were they just like, oh, okay?
Yeah, they were just like, oh, okay. And I was like...
I would be more concerned about that.
Like, why is there space in between? You know what? It's fine. We've lived in it long enough that I think if we had a we used to live here situation, it would have happened already, so...
I was thinking, like, things could get in there and just stay. Or, like, leak area. I mean, who knows? Maybe that's normal in houses with basements. I've never lived in a basement in a house.
I mean, I was not aware, but you know what? Is this something I really want to share publicly?
I can edit it out if it's like... I will edit that out, yes.
So maybe I did know that there's space in between the ceiling and the floors.
I'm just gonna bleep that out. I was just gonna say, maybe I did know.
You're like, that's a secret for if Patreon ever becomes a thing.
Yeah.
Girl, I'm glad you're doing that off camera.
Imagine the editing that I would have to pull off for that. My cat's licking something on herself, and it's really uncomfortable. Anyway, so did any of this even happen? How much happened?
Yeah.
Was Thomas real?
I will say, anytime a white man is named Thomas, I don't trust him. Like, I saw what is that movie? It's a Guillermo del Toro movie. Oh my god. That's gonna bug me. I love that movie. Either way, Tom Hiddleston is in it, and his name is Thomas in it, and he is a killer. So
I was gonna say, the only Guillermo del Toro movie that I know that I've seen is Pacific Rim. So...
No, he has, like, a very gothic horror.
Is it Pan's Labyrinth?
No, it's set in this, like, Victorian time where this English man comes over to America, falls in love with a girl, and brings her over to his family's, like, old money home in England. And while she's there, she's discovering, like, just really weird things about him and his sister. Because they have, like, a weird relationship, and then, like, she finds, like, evidence that there have been other women who have lived there with them.
Well, now I want to watch that.
I know. I'm gonna have to remember what the name is. It's bugging me that I can't remember. I do love that movie, but, yeah. So I'm like, his name is Thomas. He's untrustworthy. So I'm like, this guy is named Thomas. You know what?
He's untrustworthy.
Every time I've had a nickel that a man named Thomas ended up being a bad person, I'd have 2 nickels, which isn't a lot. But it's weird that it happened twice.
I feel that. So I also have in here, like, when did reality stop and, like, the illusion start? Because, like, I mean, like, considering that, like, I mean, the house does seem to change, like, people around it. Mm-hmm. But, like, why did it spare Charlie and not her?
Right.
And I think that's my biggest question. Or is Charlie still part of it, but she's living in another piece of the house that's, like, way far away?
Yeah, that's a good question, because it's like, if the house was always the entity that was causing things, why did it not really start, or seem to start changing things until Thomas walked in?
Yeah.
Because I feel like that's kind of, like, the thing that caused everything to happen. There's a more scientific word for that, and I can't think of it.
Catalyst?
Yeah. That, I think, like, him and his family walking in seems to be the catalyst for, like, the house to start going, you know what? I'm gonna act up.
But was it already acting up before he was there?
Yeah, and we don't really know that because it doesn't start until he knocks on the door.
Okay, so...
Interesting.
I'm really, like, excited to get into some things, but I'm, like, trying to hold back. And also, I think that we've covered a lot of my questions by accident. But who is Paige? Who are the kids? Actually, I have another answer for the kids, but...
Yeah.
Like, are they just other people that have gotten sucked into this? Because, like, Allison / what is her other name? They end up getting new names once they, like, go crazy, I guess.
Yeah.
But she ends up, I'm just kind of wondering if Paige does the same thing.
Yeah. Well, I remember when, because I marked this, when they first walk in and, like, Eve at first is like, no, Charlie, you know, fake called Charlie, and was like, oh, Charlie said no, sorry, you all can't come in. When she was watching their reactions, like, Thomas and the kids kind of seemed like, but Paige was, like, seemed relieved that they weren't gonna, like, check out the house. So I'm like, why? Other than if she was just, like, an unwilling participant in it, like, somehow she got caught up in it, and because of her relationship to Thomas, whatever that is now she is now an unwilling participant in the events that happened in the house.
Well, and she also seems changed because, like, she used to have a tattoo, but she's, like, trying to get it removed or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's... And how far in the spell is she? Is she also just going along with whatever Thomas wants because that's what Eve ends up doing?
Right.
Well, until she, like, tries to kill him. But, yeah. So, the codes. I think we can jump into the codes.
Okay.
So,
I was like, I did the big ones, but I know that there's little ones, like, throughout it.
I didn't do a lot of the little ones.
Okay.
But I did all the Morse code.
I did all the Morse code.
So you have Old Man with the Scar who's lived in the cabin for centuries and goes by many different names.
Yes.
So I think that's a big piece of it. But also, who is he? Is he the house? He seems to be fighting against the house.
Well, I know there's, like, somewhere they, where is, I don't know if it's a code or if it's in the house when she discovers it, where it's, like, there's different types of people that it lists out, where it's, like, these people are the people who get trapped, and, like, these people are the people who, like, participate or whatever. Because there's, like, a category of people that gets talked about, where I feel like it would kind of tell you, like, whose role is what for the house.
Yeah.
But I don't know.
Like and subscribe if you would like a follow-up episode.
Yeah, I don't know if it's...
Well, this might also have a deeper thing. Because, did you read the acknowledgements?
I think I did, but I'm gonna be honest, I do not recall them.
Okay. Well,
I know he, like, this book was created because he was originally uploading, like, kind of like a month, or like a weekly, like, episodic type of breakdown story on Reddit. I did not go back and read the Reddit. So I do know that.
Okay, so that's what I wanted to jump scare you with. But it goes deeper because Kai has his own story. And, well, like, if we want to assume that Kai is also Newton, or, well, not is Newton, but, like, Newton and Kai are also, like, what I'm trying to say, if we assume that Newton is the narrator of the story, which I think it's safe to, considering the house seems to be the entity, and it's not just a house. Kai gets lost in a cave.
Yeah.
And there's a little girl calling for help. So I think...
Never a good thing.
No, but considering something very similar happens kind of in the book, I think it's safe to assume that the other two are Newton and Jenny. Because he has a whole bunch of stories on that Reddit.
Yeah.
And I thought all of them were going to be about the house. That is not the case.
Yeah.
But I think it's safe to assume that that's where they came from.
Yeah.
So that's why I think that, like, the only, like, one that we really don't know where it came from is Paige.
Yeah.
That's...
I want a story about Paige now.
Well, I didn't look through the entire Reddit. I mean, I did, but also I was on my phone and I don't have the Reddit app anymore, so I had to, like, keep using the web browser.
Yeah.
And every time you click back, it sends you to the top of the page.
Yeah.
And that's, like, really annoying.
Mm-hmm.
So, I ended up reading through a few things, and then I ended up decoding some stuff in different stories, but every single code seems to be related to whatever story that is. And it doesn't seem to leak out. Because I was looking, thinking that all of these codes were going to, like, point to something in the book.
Yeah.
But his other longest story is The Man in the Basement Takes One Step Every Week. It's a good story. But I don't...
That sounds freaky.
It is. It is.
I don't like that.
Well, the thing is, I, like, listened to it. Like, I listened to a YouTube narrator, like, 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
I think it was, like, 2 years ago anyway. And I thought it was, like, interesting, but I didn't remember the ending.
Mm-hmm.
And I kind of think that the story kind of just pitters out where you don't really care about the ending. At least in my opinion. Who knows, maybe other people have different things. And I have yet to hear the ending. I'm listening through another thing. Mm-hmm. But I decoded all the codes in that one. And that's how I was like, I think all of these are pretty self-regulated.
Yeah.
And it's the first time you meet me, or you see me will be in long forgotten memories remembered, each week one step. So it's pretty self-contained, so the biggest Morse code thing is just going to be in that one. And I thought I wrote down the Kai one, like him getting lost in a cave, but I didn't. So I didn't write it down. I don't know. I can't remember what it said, and I really don't feel like digging for it.
Yeah.
But it seems pretty self-contained.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all of the answers are probably in the book.
Yeah.
At least for what he's going to release. But he does have a second book. I don't know if it's the same storyline, because he signed a 2-book deal, and the other one is called The Caretaker. Which to me either says that it's going to be about the house, the caretaker of the house, or it's going to be a caretaker of a person.
Okay.
But considering that there were several stories that were related on the subreddit, I kind of do wonder if there's at least going to be a small link. But it is out.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. You know who I think, you didn't read this book, but I think you should. I think, because thinking about this book, it very much reminds me of this other book that I read earlier, or late last year. It's called Widow's Peak. It's about a lighthouse. And yes. And it's like, it's a haunted lighthouse, but the way things happen in it kind of reminds me of, like, the reality altering things that happen in this book, because there's just things that happen that you're like, that doesn't make sense. But in a good way, like, in a good, like, horror way. And it feels... Hello?
Oh. We probably want to control for that next time.
Oopsie. Oh.
My chicken.
My chicken. Oh no.
My chicken has been waxed.
That doesn't sound right.
It does not. For those who are just listening, we have a candelabra and we didn't control for where the wax goes.
You know, I thought about it right before we started, and then I was like, oh, it'll be fine.
That's why I was staring at the candelabra for so long.
This is what happens when two people who have one brain cell light things.
I mean, it's on the runner, so I think it'll be fine for now.
Yeah.
Next week's edition, or next podcast edition, is a dish.
Anyways, Widow's Peak, very good. I feel like it was written by 2 authors, but I feel like if 1 or 2 of them worked with this author and came up with something, it would be brilliant.
I mean, I want to read Widow's Peak now because it's about a lighthouse.
Yeah, it is told, so I will say, because not everyone enjoys books that aren't written in, like, normal prose, because it is written in, like, timestamps, because it's written, it's kind of like written like you're watching, like, someone's video recording or, like, sound recording.
Well, this one has things like that.
It does, but Widow's Peak is nothing but that for the most part.
I'd be fine with that.
Which I was fine with it. At first I was like, I don't know how I feel about this. But then I was fine with it. But yeah, it is like, it's kind of like if Ghost Hunters went into a lighthouse and then never came out.
I think you described this to me on Phasmophobia.
I think I did, because I was like, because you love Point Hope on Phasmophobia, and I was like, Maggie, I just read a haunted lighthouse, but it has, like, very, like, reality, like, weird things that happen in it, too. It's not just, like, a haunted lighthouse and ghosts are, like, causing bad things to happen. It also just has, like, this really weird, like, kind of like this, where it's, like, kind of like a mind, like, fuck if I could say that, happening in it as well. So I feel like if those authors got together and made something together, I would probably die of happiness, because they would probably come up with something terrifying.
I think that they should also set it in a lighthouse again.
Yeah.
Tanglewood.
Yeah. Oh my god. Tanglewood. A Tanglewood lighthouse.
Tanglewood. Ayo.
Ayo.
So, what... Do you have any theories as to what happened in the book? Besides the house is the entity.
I do think that Thomas, in some sort of way, was the catalyst, and I do think I kind of, like, believe Allison when she was like, he was the one who changed everything.
Yeah, because he's the through line for both.
Yes, so I do believe her in terms of, like, him being the catalyst for why her life changed as well. But I also think, like, there's just something weird going on in that mountain in general. Whether that's because
there were names that kept changing too.
Yeah, because, like, names kept changing and it affected the greater area. It wasn't just, like, their house or their neighborhood. It was like the cops believed, like, the surrounding community believed everything. There's something weird going on in the neighbor's house, whether that's because the house, like, infected the land or something even larger than the house is at hand. Like, maybe the house is answering to someone else. And the fact that the cabin isn't really a part of the house, but there's weird things going on there. But I do think that whatever happened to Eve did happen to her. I do question, though, like, because she had that moment where, like, she convinced Charlie to, like, take her out with Shiloh, and then she started getting these feelings that wasn't really Shiloh and wasn't really Charlie, and they were really stuck in the house. I kind of think that was really Charlie and Shiloh, and that it's just her paranoia and, like, the entity were finally getting to her to get her to come back to the house.
Yeah, because, like, it messed with the phones.
Yeah.
And it was like, come back. And it's like, who am I with?
Yeah.
But...
And also, I think part of me believes that because I don't want anything to happen to the dog. I'm like,
did the dog exist? I feel like the dog existed.
Yes. So I think one of my theories is that when she was, like, escaping from the house with Charlie and Shiloh, that was really Charlie and Shiloh, and that it's just, like, at that point her paranoia was so deep that, like, she just, like, herself and the house started working together against her. Yeah. So,
you know, I don't think it cleaned up where Shiloh went.
No, because she gets that phone call from Charlie and is like, we're still stuck in the house. I don't think when she goes back to the house that she ever sees Shiloh again.
Well, and then the Charlie on the phone didn't address where Shiloh
was, which is part of the reason why I think that the real Shiloh and Charlie were with her when she, like, ran away from them. But,
well, and then is phone Charlie real? Like, the later phone call.
Yeah, that's also true.
Because if they are, then that gets into, like, a multi-universe kind of thing.
Yeah.
where like reality shifts so hard that it becomes different.
I don't know. And it's weird because it's like after like the reality like completely changes for Eve and she is like she's in that reality where she's living in her brother's house, you know, and she broke up with Charlotte, not Charlie. All of that happens, and at the very end of the book you get Charlie coming back going, my girlfriend's stuck in a house, please help me. So I'm like, also because of that, I still think that Charlie and Shiloh were real in that moment, because that would explain why Charlie knew about like the different reality. But also it does beg the question of a multiverse, if you will, because there's a Charlotte who believes in the new reality, and there's a Charlie who knows of the actual reality.
Yeah. But also, like, how much do we want to assume that, like, Charlie would believe that this is the extent of it? Because, like, I think Charlie's, like, biggest thing of, like, what's going on is the window.
Yeah.
And would someone who's described as that logical go all the way to the house itself is changing and there's something wrong with the strangers in our house?
Yeah.
I also find that suspicious, but at the same time there could be something, like, Charlie could be in her own hell.
Yeah. Yeah. We get everything from Eve's perspective, essentially, so we don't really know what happens to Charlie in those moments where she's just not around. Like, did she really go to get beer?
Right. Was Charlie real at all?
Well, I will say, and I know I texted you this, the idea of, like, being in a house with people and, like, telling someone, like, I think there's someone in our basement, and your partner being like, I'll look at it at the basement in the morning. I'm like, I don't care if you think that I'm, like, crazy. If I'm telling you that I think there's someone in our house that shouldn't be in our house, you need to go look at that moment.
Yeah. I mean, like, I feel like I can see where it comes from, but I don't think Charlie had enough reason to disbelieve Eve.
Yeah.
Like, because, I mean, like, if you live with someone who's, like, deeply schizophrenic.
Yeah.
And, like, you know that you've locked all of the doors, and you know that, like, all the windows are, like, intact, you have a security system.
Yeah.
And, like, you have cameras all over the house or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, you would know there's no one in the basement if they're like, I want to go check. But at that point, it's also like, well, you should probably at least comfort them.
Right. Well, that,
by,
and
like,
then I'm like, I'm also just like, I don't want to take my chances.
Yeah.
So it's like, I would rather, you know, alleviate both of our worries and check and see if there's someone in the house that shouldn't be in the house or not.
Yeah, no. Well, especially because Eve hadn't shown that many red flags at that point. So, like, and Charlie hadn't been there the whole day.
Yeah.
And it's not like they have, like, a whole security alarm system.
Yeah.
So there could be someone in the basement.
Yeah. I would say, like, the only thing that, like, I would understand from Charlie's perspective of, like, not going to check the basement is if in her head she was like, well, there's a bunch of strangers in our house right now, so, like, it might just be one of them who are in the basement, so...
Or she could be like, well, they're sleeping downstairs.
They're sleeping downstairs, so they'll get killed first and warn us.
We'll hear the screams.
Right. So, but yeah, no, I've learned that if something, like, particularly, like, freaks me out, I go ill audibly when I'm reading or watching something. And when it was in that moment where, like, Eve was at the top of the stairs and she, like, saw something and it stood up fully,
I forgot about that part.
I said, ew, out loud.
Also, I feel like this is something that bothered me. So, like, the Charlie not checking it out didn't bother me that much. But also, like, the fact that Eve saw several things in the basement that were, like, weird. If not, like, I mean, I'm sorry, but if I saw something stand up,
yeah,
I'm leaving. Like, I don't care if there's a snowstorm outside. I am at least barricading several doors.
Right.
And, like, I don't want to say, like, oh, like, they're, like, older adults or something like that, because, like, I don't care if I'm 35. I'm barricading a door.
Right.
I'm locking several doors. I am going to the moon and back to make sure that that thing is as far away from me as possible.
Right. Yeah.
I will go to Thomas's van, get in, and drive away. Like, I don't know how she didn't freak out about that a little bit more.
Yeah.
And, like, I don't know, also, like, the whole thing of, like, if someone told me that, I would do the same thing. Like, if my husband were to come in here right now and be like, hey, I saw someone in the shed outside, I'm not going out there with a gun. I am getting my keys and I'm leaving.
Yeah. I am calling the police.
Yes.
Can you check my shed?
I am, like, putting my cat in the car.
Yeah.
So.
I've watched enough Criminal Minds and I'm like, there's several things that I'm never gonna do again. Because, like, no.
I'm always checking my backseat.
Yes. Check the backseat before you get in your car. Do not post where you're at.
No, you take a picture of where you're at and you post it the next day.
Right.
Or at least several hours later.
Especially if you live on your own. You should not be telling people where
I'm
you're
home
at.
alone.
Yeah.
I'm home alone right now.
I'm home alone, or I'm not at home right now.
Right. No one is at the house.
Right. Like, come steal from me.
Come be waiting in my closet for when I get home.
No.
Be waiting in the crawl space between my basement and my first floor.
No.
See, now I'm like, how does he sleep in there?
What, Ethan in the basement?
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, he's fine. He does not get scared by anything. When we went to Waverly, and Ethan was unfazed the entire time. And for those of you who don't know what I'm talking about, Waverly is an old tuberculosis hospital, where they think up to, like, close to maybe 60,000 people died in, because of the White Plague when tuberculosis was a big thing. That shit's scary. Don't like that. I hated it the entire time I was there. And Ethan's just walking through the halls like, and then before the scariest floor is I think it's the 4th floor because that's where the shadow people are. And they tell you a scary story before you get on that floor, which I think is why it freaked me out so much. And before we walked in, Ethan leans over and he goes, "I see dead people." I was like, "You're insane, and I'm gonna smack you."
That's very him.
Yeah, so I think he's fine. I'm glad I'm not in the basement. So
yeah, I used to want a basement bedroom.
Yeah.
You know what? I want a basement bedroom wherever this house is.
No.
Also, like, what was up with Thomas just, like, rigidly standing there?
What? I feel like the house was speaking to him.
He's communing with the entity.
Yeah.
Because he's also the entity.
Yeah.
Is Thomas the cabin guy?
Or is the cabin guy Thomas? I feel like
there's a chance because it says he goes by many different names.
Yeah.
And they all change names when they go a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
And he had a scar on his face, and if we assume that time's not linear in this house,
Yeah.
it could be Thomas after Eve breaks his face.
Yeah. Oh my god. See, this is why I like Cosmic Horror is just like,
what actually happened here?
like, I feel like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia. It's like
us reading. We used to live here. Yeah, no, I would say I liked this book.
Yeah, I enjoyed it.
Yeah,
it was a really quick read, and definitely, like, there were definitely moments in it where I was like, oh, like I said, like, I've gotten into the habit where I very audibly, like, react when something particularly freaked me out, and there were several moments in this book that made me go ew. But yeah, like, and it's like a lot of, like, the visual things where it's like she thought she was looking at a little girl, and then the little girl stood up, and it's like, that's not a little girl. Or when she's trapped in the attic and she can hear, like, the shuffling. I hated that. I was like, oh no.
See, have you watched The Haunting of Hill House?
No, I have not.
Oh, okay.
I will say, here's the weird thing about me. Books, there are moments that freak me out, but they don't genuinely scare me a majority of the time. I have avoided, like, scary, like, horror movies my entire life because as a kid I had a very active imagination,
and
so
it would get to you.
Yeah, it would get to me. I would have nightmares, so, like, my parents banned like things for me, including Ghost Hunters, which Ghost Hunters is truly not that scary.
But I mean, just to be safe, if your kid's consistently having nightmares after they see something like mildly
no,
upsetting.
it would give me nightmares still. So like I've avoided it, and so like I mean, very recently I've tried to like watch a scary movie every now and then. Like I watched Scream for the first time last year.
I haven't watched it.
It's kind of funny, to be honest.
I think that's like the whole thing, because they ended up like basing like Scary Movie, I think,
yes.
partially on it.
Yeah. I always kind of, my opinion, this is totally off topic, but in my opinion, I think Scream is already kind of like a satirical take on a slasher movie anyways. Because it just kind of feels that way. But anyways, so visual, and here's the other weird thing where you're like, this isn't going to make sense, because I understand movies and TVs, it's visual, so it might scare you more. Video games don't always scare me. And my explanation for that is because you have like a sense of autonomy in a video game because you are controlling the character, whereas when you're watching a movie or like a TV show, you're just there.
Well, and you can always like put something down and come back to it.
Yes. Yeah.
And I feel like the eyes kind of have a way of like skipping over certain things, whereas like in movies you can look past or like you're always seeing something even if it's not there.
Yeah. So I'm like slowly getting there, but there's just certain things where I'm like it'll probably take me a lot to watch like any like movie that's like very much like paranormal horror, because that terrifies me more than like
slashers
or anything, which is weird because like slashers technically could really happen.
Well, no, I get it though, because there's like a fear of the unknown that comes with like different types of horror. Like I feel like cosmic horror doesn't freak me out that much, because it's like I don't know, I mean like Cthulhu isn't gonna come busting through the door, but like things where it's like, is there someone in the house? There is something in the house, but it's not quite human. It's like, that is infinitely more scary to me than another human that I can reasonably predict what they're thinking.
Right.
Or even if I can't predict what they're thinking, at least there's like a limit to their capabilities.
Yeah, and there's things that I can do to protect myself.
Yeah. Like I can throw the candelabra at it and it'll crumple, hopefully.
Yeah. Whereas
a ghost? That's not gonna
happen.
A ghost?
So, but yeah.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, I pictured Allison almost as one of the main freakies in Haunting of Hill House.
Yeah.
And, like, the way that she was just kind of, like, and dashing through the house.
Ew.
Yeah.
Ew. No, I need to read Haunting of Hill House. I've technically read, because there's an author who like rewrote it like a couple years back.
I don't know how I feel about that.
I know.
Haunting of Hill House
did
very much a feminist take, and I feel like you shouldn't mess with it.
Right, but I did read that. And honestly, it's been long enough that I don't really remember what happened, except for the fact that I know that there was a guy, and I don't know if this happens in the original book, there's a guy who was there, and he was convinced that there was a little fairy door, and that if he went into the fairy door that he could find like someone in it, and so he went in there, and because he's a big man and it's a small door, he got trapped in the little fairy door and suffocated and died.
I think that that's almost leaning into, I don't want to say like the show, but like, because that doesn't really happen in the show either. I don't think that happens in the book.
Yeah.
I also read Haunting of a Hill House whenever I was like 7 months pregnant. So anything that I read during that period, I might have the gist of it, but I don't remember everything. I don't think it really focused on the male characters that much.
Yeah.
To where that could have even happened.
Yeah. I don't really remember much of like the rework. And I honestly, I don't even think I realized that it was a reworking of the original book until I like finished it and then read the acknowledgments, and the author was like, and I was like, oh.
Yeah, like, what was that?
Yeah, and I was like, and I think I wrote in my like Goodreads review where it was like, I probably may have gotten more out of it if I knew like the original book, or I might have hated it more.
Yeah.
If I had read the original book, but
I feel like I end up hating a lot of retellings. Just because it's like, I feel like authors take on a different meaning than what they're really, like, what someone gets out of something is their own thing.
Right.
And I don't like retellings because I feel like it's kind of disregarding what the author might have originally meant.
Mm-hmm.
Especially because, like, I tend to gloss over what the author originally meant and I get my own thing.
Yeah.
Like, not to say that always happens, but, like...
Yeah. I will say what's missing from a lot of, like, books, and I feel like out of all the genres that I read, that horror still tends to do this the best in modern times, if you will, is I feel like a lot of newer books hit you on the head with what the author is trying to tell you.
Yes.
Rather than letting you come to your own conclusions.
They repeat it ad nauseum.
Yes. And it's like
I get it.
Yeah, I'm like, and I get it. We are in a literary crisis, but
there's
not
a limit.
Helping. Yeah. I'm like, if you're telling people straight up what you're trying to get us to infer, like, you're just kind of repeating that literary crisis cycle. Mm-hmm. I can't think of a very specific book that comes to mind, but I know, like, there's just been books where I'm like, all right, I'm like 50 pages and I'm like, I get it. Like, why I'm 50 pages in, why do I already get it?
Yeah. Or, like, the twist is, like, so foreseeable because
obvious,
they essentially just tell you what it is.
Yes.
There's a book that we were discussing not too long ago,
mm-hmm.
where it's like, yeah, obviously that was the person that did it.
Right.
You know, I've only read one book recently that did a twist like that really well, where it's like, yeah, it's obvious who did it, but, like, at least to me, you know, but the reasoning why was why you were reading the book.
Yeah.
And I feel like the author kind of wanted it to be a little bit more of a surprise than it was.
Yeah.
But, like, it still did it well to where it was like, okay, well, I see everything that went into it, and I like the narrator's voice.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the last book that I finished reading was Ring.
I think I wanted to read that one.
I will say...
Was that horror?
It is horror. It's do you know, like, the Ring movies with, like, the girl who comes out of the TV?
Oh, yes.
It's that book that those movies are based off of.
I thought it was the one with, like, the Ring camera being the problem. No.
No, I'm talking about Ring. I can't think of the author's name right now, but it's a Japanese horror novel. It's kind of like what you were saying, where it's like, it's something where it's like, it's kind of obvious, the nature of, like, the problem, but the way in which it goes about is really well done. I will say, in my opinion, that Ring is much more of a thriller than it is a horror, just because it's very much told from the perspective of people who are trying to solve the problem and, like, figure it out. And so it's the narrator is a journalist, so because of that, it has a very, like, thriller nature to it. My only other thing about it is, if you do think about reading it, it's by a Japanese man in the 90s. Yeah, so there are themes that I don't think are handled very well from a modern woman's perspective.
In the West.
In the West. So that's one thing.
There's a lot of books like that, though, that I've read that they still do their concept well, even if I disagree with the perspective. Because I feel like there's also, like, books that almost lean the other way, that it's like, okay, this is, like, a little bit too insensitive towards like the original, you know.
But it's done. I think when you get to the explanation of, like, how, because it's essentially about a curse, and so it's when you get to the explanation of how the curse works, it's like, it's so obvious, but at the same time it's, like, almost ingenious, because of how obvious and simple it is. But yeah, so I liked it all right. I gave it 3 stars. I was like, it could be better. And part of that was because of some of those themes. But, I mean, it's considered a classic in the horror sphere for a reason, so. Yeah. But.
So, I guess one more question about, we used to live here. What's your rating?
I gave it, what did I give it?
I don't know what you gave it.
I think I gave it 4 stars. I will say, I use Goodreads to track everything, and I do tend to be a very,
critical person.
Yes.
I was gonna say, I'm usually, like, if I'm actually trying to give it a rating, not just,
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm pretty harsh on things.
Yes.
And I feel like I would rate it between 4 and 4.5.
Yeah.
Because I didn't have any issues with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I really liked the premise.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like there might have been a little bit more to it.
Yeah, that's how I felt. Like, I felt like the pacing in terms of reading it was good because I felt like I was reading it quickly because it was interesting and I was involved. But at the same time, I feel like, and part of it is the fact that it is a cosmic horror and reality is not real, and is ever shifting. I do think that, like, at times the pacing was odd because it felt like we were too far ahead or we were too far behind.
And not like in a chronological or linear way.
Yes, but the caveat to that is the fact that it is a cosmic horror, and so that just kind of comes with the nature of the genre a little bit. But it does kind of mess with you in terms of trying to keep things neat. But I will say I really, really liked the Morse code and like all of like the little like things that you can decode in it. Did you decode the symbols?
Did you?
I did.
I did not. I decoded everything while my baby was sleeping on me. And that's why I only got to the Morse code, because I forgot about the other codes. There's another capitalization one, isn't there?
Yeah, there's a capitalization one. Some of them have like weird, like this one on page 103. If you like shift around like the name of this post, you give her the locket. Because some of these short little things is the house telling people what to do, essentially.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what I'm hearing is we do need a follow-up episode where we both go back and fully decode everything.
Yeah. So this first one, with the little symbols on 151, it says she has to invite in.
So she has to invite Thomas in. She needs to give the possibly fake Charlie the locket.
Yeah, the second one is directions. So we don't know exactly what the directions are, where they're at, or what they're for. But what the directions on this one are: at the red tree, take 10 paces left, then round boulder 3, go back to red tree, knock 2, go back to boulder, underground hatch. And then, I know.
Okay, the underground hatch, I think, ties into something
in the cabin.
Well, it's either in the cabin or in the staircase.
Yeah. And then this last one, I'm trying to make sure. And then I do have the capital letter ones on the next page. This last symbol one on 153 is at the underground hatch, descend, take cross pose, 5 seconds, avoid violent host.
To me that says Allison. Or Thomas.
Yeah, take 30 paces forward, wait 3 days.
My brain is working so...
Did you do the long Morse code? Because this is its own.
Did I not catch that?
This is its own Morse code.
Okay, yeah, no, I completely failed on this, and I was like, I decoded everything. Maggie...
I'll read you it. It's really long, because it doesn't have anything to do with, like, the Morse code that you put together, like, in the little ones. So this one says, the trail of muddy footprints led off down the front stoop, tracked across the gravel driveway, and disappeared into the darkened woods. David Cornswell had no choice but to follow.
So that's probably the old man.
Mm-hmm. And then the last, in this chapter, the capital letter code says, the old gods see all.
Okay.
So.
Well, that... Okay, we're going to have to do a follow-up episode at some point.
Yeah. And then this is the old man one that you said earlier, with, like, the old man with the scar has many names.
Okay.
So... I will say that's my other thing where like I was like I'm definitely between 4 and 4.5 because I love the idea of having something extra to do after the book is over to rediscover other things. Mm-hmm. I will also have to say the little like symbol codes, I did not decode those. I didn't know how to do them. There is a YouTube video where someone put them together, and they did say that it's not entirely accurate or it could be inaccurate because they're going off of vibes.
Yeah.
Or they're going off of, like, things that they got from the Reddit stories
Mm-hmm.
to try and, like, put them together. So it could totally be wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But
the Old Gods one specifically, I'm like, there's really weird vibes with that one.
Yeah. So I do really like the idea of there being hidden puzzles within the book too.
Well, because it adds a second story to it.
Yes. Yeah. Because it kind of gives you, like, even more vibes that the house is like
the problem
because it's giving other characters things to do.
Mm-hmm. See, I'm still stuck on the old man possibly being Thomas.
Yeah.
And that, I think, is throwing a wrench where I can't let my brain go anywhere else because my brain is now dead set on Thomas being this old man in another existence.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna have to reread it. I feel like the stairwell also has a puzzle in it, and I can't remember what it is.
Yeah. So, but yeah, there's lots of puzzles, so I'm like, if you choose to read this book,
Have a notebook.
Have a notebook.
Don't read it in the hospital while your dad's getting brain surgery because you will not pick up anything. You will forget about all the codes, and you will try to eat sushi off the floor.
Yeah. I will say what I did, and I don't know if I would have, like, thought of the book differently, is I didn't decode anything until I finished the book.
I didn't either, and I think that also was almost a problem for me because I feel like I gave it its original score before I did any of the codes, and I feel like that colored my idea of things. Even though I was catching that there was codes, I feel like I also kind of underestimated the author a little bit, and also, this was bad of me, but whenever I read that it was from a Reddit person, I mean, like, you can kind of tell in the writing that this person originated on No Sleep, if you're as familiar with No Sleep as I am. And I feel like that colored my visage of the author and, like, his capabilities, and I feel like I shouldn't have done that. But I feel like it will happen again. So. Yeah. Because I also thought that it was very tropey at first. Or not tropey, like, but specifically with certain things that happen in No Sleep Story specifically. Yeah. And not, like, tropey in a way of, like, this is something that happens in horror books, because a lot of this is not something that typically happens in horror books.
Yeah. I feel like cosmic horror is kind of a niche subsection of horror. Like, I feel like a lot of horror is going to be, like, monsters or ghosts.
But cosmic horror... Yeah. And I feel like a lot hasn't been done with the genre.
No. That's why I feel like also, like, there's such a distinct... There's, like, you can break down cosmic horror even more into, like, two distinct subsections of it, where it's, like, Cthulhu and, like, kind of the fear of kind of these entities, like, unknown entities, and then kind of, like, that existentialism. Jesus, it's a hard word to say. That other side of cosmic horror, where it is, like, the kind of fear of a shifting reality and, like, you know...
Where the entity's not, like, a monster, but the entity is reality, almost.
Yes, yeah. And which I think kind of plays into, like, kind of psychological horror at times as well.
I feel like cosmic horror is almost an offshoot of psychological.
Yes, yeah.
Although it can branch into other things.
Yeah.
But I feel like that's just all horror. Yeah. Like, all horror
is interconnected.
Yeah.
Well, like, I've always, like, said that, like, horror, fantasy, and sci-fi are very much interconnected with one another as well. Because I feel like they play off of each other a lot.
Well, and also, I mean, there is the argument to be made that a lot of it comes off of politics.
Yes. Yeah.
Because it's a form of reality that you can do a lot with, because it's all, like, other people's minds. Yeah. And opinions and all that.
Yeah, and takes on that. Which is why I do think that horror kind of does the best when it comes to, like, if the author's trying to make a point like that.
It's either very well done or it's very badly done.
Yes, and when it's very well done, it's kind of like if we're going to think about, like, a movie version of this, I think of, oh my god, my brain is not working, vampires.
Twilight?
No.
Any interview with the vampire?
No, it came out, did it come out last year? With,
Nosferatu?
no, with Michael, you know, it's the book where it's set in, like, Prohibition era, and it's about the two twin brothers.
Oh, Sinners.
Yes. I think of Sinners. You get distracted of the fact that it's about vampires, that it
it's
kind of...
really about racism.
Yes, it's really about, like, racism and generational, like, trauma and like, just the cycle of all those things kind of coming together.
Because it also kind of puts a mask on it, because it's like, ooh, vampires.
Because it's, like, vampires. And it's, like, there's layers to it that I think the horror element, the monster element of it kind of shadows what the director's trying to show you, but in a good way, because it makes you think about it more.
Well, it also adds a layer of, like, why the villain is pure evil.
Yes.
Because, like,
yes,
at least in modern movies and TV shows and books and everything, you almost can't have a villain that is true evil.
Yeah.
Because there's always a reason why a person is, but you don't really need a reason why a vampire is.
Right.
So it adds, like, this layer. And I feel like Sinners, I mean, like, you can reason why Remick is the way he is.
Yes.
You know, and it's because, like, the Irish being mistreated in America as well. But, like, at the end of the day, he's still the true evil of the thing. And you don't really need a reason why he's true evil. He's just true evil.
Yeah.
Because he's a vampire.
I will say, like, one of my favorite parts in that is when he has, I can't think of the characters' names because I haven't watched it in a while. But when he has the main character with the boy with the guitar in the river, and he's like, he has that speech where because he starts praying, and Remick is like, oh, they taught me about that God too, and they forced me to believe in that God. That's a great moment, because I think that's probably the moment that, like, if you're really paying attention, but, like, the vampires have been overshadowing things, I feel like that's the moment where it can click for you, of, like, this is really about the cycle of racism and colonialism, and how it just kind of, like, keeps snowballing into other, like, walks of life and things like that. So but yeah, that's my take on Sinners. I think Sinners is an amazing movie, and if you haven't seen it, then you're wrong and you should watch it.
You're wrong.
You're wrong. Or if you watched and you didn't like it, you're wrong.
Try again.
Try again. The answer is actually, it was great, and you're wrong. So.
Okay.
And Michael B. Jordan is a beautiful, beautiful man. That's then every episode we're gonna end this with Michael B. Jordan is a beautiful, beautiful man. In case you forgot,
our poster is just Michael B. Jordan.
We get sponsored by Michael B. Jordan. These white girls know what's up.
They like Sinners.
They like Sinners. Therefore, they're correct.
Okay, so any more finishing thoughts on the book?
No, I think it was great. I would like to read more cosmic horror. I'm excited for this kind of odd topic. We were in a D&D session, and our DM said he's going to do more cosmic horror within our sessions, so I'm excited for that.
Join our Patreon if you want D&D exclusive. I'm kidding, we don't have a Patreon.
So yeah, I don't know, what book should we do next?
I think we should do Hidden Pictures next, just because I kind of already have things almost prepared. I do need to look back over it, but
I have not read it, so I'll need to read it.
I do want to do The Caretaker, I think, by Marcus Kliewer.
Okay.
In October.
Okay.
Because that will give me enough time to really go back and decode everything. And not just the Morse code.
I mean, I didn't do everything. I know, like the little locket one I read, I know there's more like that in the book where it's just these little snippet ones. I was like, you know what, I love this. I'm not doing all of that. So there's definitely things in there that I missed, but
yeah,
loved it nonetheless.
Well, I figured, like, for the first half of it, we could probably do, like, a recapping everything we missed, and then, like, actually just do The Caretaker, which I'm assuming is going to have way more puzzles.
Yeah.
And I don't, from what I remember, this could be very wrong, this could be completely wrong, but I don't think that he has any parts of The Caretaker uploaded onto the Reddit.
Oh.
So I think that it's going to be a completely original thing.
Gotcha.
Again, I could be wrong about that because, again, there was a baby asleep on my chest while I was doing all of this, so.
Yeah. Okay. Alright.
Yeah. Alright, well, thank you for listening, all 10 people. The next set dressing for real probably will just be a dish, so the candles don't stain my tapestry again. But yeah, thank you for listening.